Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. What is the best racket for tennis elbow? Well, I might answer that for you today. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so before I get started, we're talking about elbow-friendly tennis rackets. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor for this episode, Racketaid. If you live in a tennis pro shop desert and you got to drive 20 plus miles to get your racket strung, well, what if they come to you, right? Go to Racketaidcom, fill out the form, fill out the application. They'll send you out this box. It's an empty box with paper in it for you to fill out what kind of string you want and how tight you want it, right? Put your rackets in there, seal it back up, take it to the post office, take it to UPS store. The rackets come back to your doorstep, strung and ready to go. Nobody out there is providing this type of service. I've tried it myself, and it's the best thing going for racket stringing. For your stringing needs, Racketaidcom. Check it out. Okay, guys, time for rackets that help with your tennis elbow. If you go to a doctor, right, and a lot of people have, for your elbow problems, what's the doctor going to say? Well, science says that you should play with a flexible racket. So the doctors are going to go straight to the numbers and look for a low RA number. So we're looking for something in the low 60s, possibly into the 50s. So it's a flexible, soft racket. Now, does that really make a lot of sense? If you're going to go that route because of your tennis elbow, you're going to go low power, very flexible. If you want power from the racket, you're going to have to string it real loose with possibly natural gut so that you can gain the power that you possibly have lost with using a different racket. So does all that make sense though? I, for one, don't believe in that because now you're actually forced to swing a little harder and force the strings to help you because the racket is so soft now. If that was indeed the case, we should all use wooden rackets. So I don't really follow that. I know that, doctors believe in what they believe in terms of tennis elbow. But if your tennis elbow is really that severe, that's not going to help you. So what I'm going to be talking about today is some technology that will actually help you with your tennis elbow. I'm going to start with, if you guys know Kinetic, I actually did a video on ProKenix Kinetic. I was actually at the test site over 30 years ago when Kinetic was introduced to the United States. And the whole premise behind the technology is that there's 100 chambers, 100 little round circles, chambers in this racket. And they're half filled with kinetic mass. Lead granules is what it is. So half filled, so the sphere is half filled. I'm going to shake it for you on my mic and have you listen to it. You hear that? Right? Samba, samba, anybody? Okay, carnival. Anyways, so what happens is when you load back, when you do this, right, they all kind of go to the back of the chamber. When you accelerate forward, they still are in the rear chamber of the chambers, the rear of the chambers. At impact of the ball, what happens? All of those lead granules, kinetic mass, explode, right, at the impact of the ball, right? So you have another force that comes through to help with your power. Now, when the ball releases and after those lead granules come forward, what happens? Well, they bounce around in the chamber so that the vibration, right, dissipates. So it eliminates the shock. It eliminates the vibration. So I feel that, in the 30 years that this has been around, it is a successful way of taming your tennis elbow. I see doctors actually prescribing this type of racket or the Kinetic Technology to people, and I 100% feel that this does work. So Pro Kinetics Kinetic, if you have severe tennis elbow, would and could be your solution. Okay? Now, Vocal. I know a bunch of you guys have asked me to do Vocal rackets. So I have orders that I've placed with Vocal for the last 6 months. And for some reason, they're not coming. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. I've gotten the Cyclone string, but I haven't gotten rackets. So they must be short on rackets. It's probably part of that shortage deal that I've been telling everybody about. But so Vocal has another technology that's in the handle. So it's a system in the handle that dampens the shock. So when you strike the ball and the ball, after the ball releases, shock kind of goes down into your grip where you hold it, right? The system that's in here actually takes it and eliminates it into your hand and into your arm. So it takes it away. It takes the shock. It takes the vibration away. So the whole system is in this handle. They help it along a bit, though, with the big grommets here. As you can see, this is helping with a little bit of the power, a little bit of the feel. But the whole system, along with the racket, helps to tame that vibration. Now, do I feel that this works as good as Kinetic? I don't personally do, but I feel that it does help. Okay? It does help. Now, the third technology that's on the market today is this Triad technology that you see with the Triad 5, which is a smaller head, and a Triad 3, which is a bigger head. Now, if you were to throw this racket on that RA machine, which is the flex machine, right? This comes out super low. It comes out, I believe, like 30. Okay, so that's way far below like 60, 70. Okay, so but why is it doing that? It's because of these pads here that it's held on. It's a 3-piece technology, or it's held on in 3 pieces, 1, 2, and 3. So when they push on this head to basically measure the flex, these are giving a lot, right? These pads are giving a lot, therefore giving you that low number. So technically, these are flexible rackets. So technically, they're good for your elbow. And I do believe in that. But you do get power from this racket because of the thickness. So these are powerful, light rackets that's great for your tennis elbow. These are also meant for a certain class of player, though. So you typically, somebody a little older, right, who doesn't swing very hard, who, possibly have been playing for 30, 40, 50 years, and they play more doubles, right, so that it avoids tennis elbow and gives you a very comfortable ride. Now, this smaller one if you want to swing a little harder, you can. It's 103 square inches versus 113. So a lot of doubles, possibly old school serve and volley. These are great for, okay? Now, a technology like this, where the hinge, this is vocal by the way, it's unhinged here, right? Allows for this thing to flex and pivot, will also be good for your tennis elbow, because the longer these strings are, the more they're gonna be elastic and give. So when the strings give is when your arm doesn't take the pressure or the shock. So by unhinging this, allows this middle bridge point to kind of flex a little bit more along with the strings. So easy on the arm, but also pretty powerful. I mean, as you can see, this is a big head. It's a 115 square inch head, and it's a thick beam. See, all around, it's a thick beam. So it's power. This is powerful racket. But because it's a powerful racket, it's a stiff racket. Therefore, the strings will do the work. The strings will absorb the shock for you. Granted, you can control the power. Rackets like this and those triads will be good for you, will be good for your arm. Now, going into, like, Clash would actually fit the doctor's prescription, right? Because this is a soft racket because of the material. So if you're a semi-serious player, right, and you want something that's soft on the arm, you could use a Clash Pro, Clash 98 for you serious guys. The technology makes it so it's soft and that it doesn't give you that stiff, hard feel that hurts your arm. So this would be an alternative too. Now, going into soft rackets though, right? That's soft, okay? Traditional soft racket. This is a Prestige Pro. Comes in an MP2, comes in a mid, comes in a tour. So if you're talking about soft rackets, this is the way to go. If you're of this caliber of player. So I'm talking high, intermediate, advanced, don't need power, right? You got plenty of power. Just something going on with your elbow. So you would be a Prestige person, okay? And this is kind of what the doctor ordered. And this would be the other racket that's similar to what the doctor would order. This is a little higher though in that power scale, but these are two of the better rackets that I recommend for tennis elbow for that person who is a higher level player that needs something a little softer on the elbow. So depending on what type of player you are, should depend on what direction you go. I know that ProKennex does make smaller rackets that have the technology in there that would fit people in this category, right? This category. So test them out and see what works for you. But Kinetic has been the rackets of choice for a lot of tennis elbow people desperate to stay in the game. Okay, so I hope that helped. You could either go technology way here, you could go traditional flex here, Clash here, or kind of power and light in these routes. But I mean, do what's right for you. Do what keeps the ball in the court. Okay? Thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.